welcome the head of fan relations for Lucasfilm Limited, Steve Sansweet.
Welcome to Celebration Europe. Lucasfilm is thrilled to be presenting its first ever outside the USA celebration here in the UK, the spiritual home of the Star Wars saga. And now it's my pleasure to introduce an actor who really needs no introduction, a central character in the Star Wars saga, who summed up the emotion of A New Hope in one silent scene where he stands on a small hill looking at the twin sun setting. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Hamill.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. You know, I've been really lucky in my career to play the goodest of the good, the archetypal hero in the Star Wars movies. I was very lucky to be the Joker, the most evil of evil. But nobody's better at being bad than a really extraordinary actor, someone I'm really proud to call my friend, Mr. Ian McDiarmid. Let's hear it for Ian McDiarmid! Ian! Bring him on, he's shy. He's a very shy fellow. Oh! You know what? I didn't have a very big part, but obviously I didn't memorize what I was meant to do. I was just told, we're going to see some clips before we meet Ian. Can you wait just a few minutes for the clips? Look, they gave me one thing to do when I screw it up. Let's watch the clips.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy.
People of the race for your lack of vision.
Boys and girls, I have a message for you from the dark side.
Happy Friday 13th.
It ruined the hairstyle, but it was worth it. At that point, ladies and gentlemen, you probably realize we're a little slow on cueing tonight. When I said that line, thunder was supposed to happen, followed by lightning, and then the heavens were supposed to open. But clearly you can't get the staff. It's very good to be here. 30 years of Star Wars. When I was a little over 30, I got a telephone call from my agent who said George Lucas would like to see you and he'll send a car. I looked out of my window and the car had already arrived. That's how they do things on Star Wars. I got in the car, I went to Elstree, we had a very brief chat. I remember when I was leaving, going out of the door, George said, "Great nose." And I sort of felt I might be in with a chance. And when I got home, the phone was ringing again. It was my agent who said, "You've got the part." And I said, "Well, that's great. What's the part?" And he said, "Oh, questions, questions." Anyway, he looked through his notes and he said, "It's something called the Emperor of the Universe." So I said, "Oh, well, I guess we'll be doing it then." And that's how it all started. And a few weeks later, I was in the makeup chair and the whole of my face disappeared, except for one feature. Yes, you've guessed it. The nose. And I was being very skillfully made up by a tremendous makeup artist. His name's Nick Dudman. and he's now in charge of makeup, prosthetics, creatures for Harry Potter. And most recently, of course, he made up Ralph Fiennes. And you'll be very interested to know and notice that his Lord Voldemort has no nose. So clearly things have changed over the years, but not that much. When I first arrived on the Star Wars set, I had to be led on because they put in those yellow contact lenses. I had no idea where I was. I couldn't see where I was. And they led me to the top of this very long ramp staircase, which, as we now know, was the shuttle from which the Emperor made his appearance. And if you remember that very first moment when he appears, competition. Yes, that's the Death Star, I think, arriving to take me to dinner. They're a little early.
I'm in the way.
Anyway, when I got to the top of those stairs, it was a little nerve-wracking because there was a lot of smoke and I couldn't see, and I was doing what most actors spend their lives doing, which is concentrating on not falling over. So if you ever watch that film again, and I know you will at least 100 times, be aware that the most evil creature in the universe was not thinking evil thoughts, he was thinking, please don't let me go arse over tit. I'm sorry if that embarrassed any young people here. But when I managed to get to the bottom of the stairs, I met an actor friend of mine. I didn't even know he was in the movie. His name's Michael Pennington. He's a very fine actor. He's playing Charles Dickens in Bath. At the moment, he got down on his knees to me, and then there was this very tall person with a black shiny helmet who was mumbling something unintelligible really, and breathing a lot. And then I heard the magic word cut. And they took my eyes out, almost literally. The oculist on Star Wars had the wonderful name of Richard Glass. It's true. Richard Glass, the Eye Man, took my eyes out, and I saw in front of me almost as many people as I'm seeing here this evening. It seemed like thousands, and in those days they weren't painted on, they were real. And amongst those stormtroopers were about 3 jeeps going up and down, policing them. And the guys, through megaphones, were saying,
Stand up straight! Take your glasses off! Give me that camera!
And that's a side of Star Wars that I also recognize and which hasn't changed really very much. When I got the makeup off that first day, I was in the corridor and I bumped into another actor I knew very well, Sebastian Shaw, who many of you will know played one of the Darth Vaders. He's the one whose older face you see when the helmet comes off. And I said, hello Sebastian, very distinguished actor, and we worked together at the Royal Shakespeare Company. What are you doing here? And he said, I don't know. No one will tell me. But I think it's got something to do with science fiction. That took me back to when I was a kid, and I saw, well, when I was really allowed out of the house for the first time, to one of those Saturday matinees they used to have in those days. We'd go along on a Saturday morning, we'd sing a bit half-heartedly, we'd see a newsreel, we'd see a cartoon, usually Tom and Jerry. We liked that. We watched Tom beat the Sid out of Jerry every week. And then, I love a build-up. And then we saw the serial, which was either Superman or Batman or Flash Gordon. And I think probably right about that same time, because we are the same age, George Lucas was thinking thoughts via Flash Gordon towards the galaxy. It's a good memory, and it's one I think of quite a lot. I'm very pleased to be here to introduce this film this evening, because it's the only one I'm not in. And I hate to be left out. Now, that record is held, as I'm sure many of you know, or will certainly be aware of over the next few days, by one of the Tin People, who will be nameless. Only joking.